600 years ago, China was the dominant maritime power in the Indian Ocean and the Middle East. It had a navy surpassing anything the Europeans had. That vanished when the Chinese decided that the threat was landward and essentially destroyed their navy. They didn't really come back to the Middle East until after the revolution in '49, and then the initial contacts were very unsatisfactory because they tried to work with the Arab communist parties, who were very, very unpopular with Arab nationalists. It's only really in the 1980s onwards that China's presence in the Middle East has become more significant. First through arms sales to countries like Iran and Iraq, nuclear cooperation with Iran for a period of years before they essentially stopped. But really, the reason that we talk today so often about China's emerging role in the Middle East is A, because it's a region of extraordinary importance to us. We're fighting two wars there after all. And second, it's because no matter how you look at it, China's fossil fuel needs, unless there's some miraculous change in the way energy is produced, suggests that it's going to need more and more oil and natural gas from all sources in the world. But Middle East oil and natural gas, particularly the oil, is particularly attractive because it's relatively abundant and everyone is very anxious to sell it. So China's demand for Middle East energy is growing. There's no doubt about it, growing dramatically. Most of that energy for the foreseeable future will go to China by ship, by maritime routes, not by land. There are pipelines, gas and oil that are being built from Central Asia into China, but this does not match the amount of energy that is going by sea. And one of the concerns, certainly, that the Chinese military have is that if they were evident in a serious confrontation with the United States, the U.S., because it is the policeman of the region, because we do have a very formidable presence in the Indian Ocean and the Gulf, could, in theory, choke off China's energy supplies in a time of crisis. Now, I don't think that's going to happen, but military people do worry about things like this. But the alternative, of course, is that the Chinese have adopted a policy in the Middle East which is very low-keyed in terms of projecting their knuckles, showing hard shoulders like perhaps they do in East Asia. They are friends with everybody. It's extraordinary, as indeed is India. They have very good relations with Iran, with Iraq, with the Palestinians, with Syria, and with Israel. One of their closest military relationships is with Israel because of the high-tech value they see in Israeli military equipment. So, looked at from a strategic point of view, I think they have calculated that there is no way in the short run they could even consider challenging the United States in any strategic sense. And they don't want to, because after all, we are the policemen. We are providing, if you like, a service, a good. We are protecting these sea lines that come from the Gulf and go to China and elsewhere. And the second point is, it's not just the Chinese who are moving into the Middle East from Asia. The Indians have a huge presence there, as does South Korea and many other Asian countries. So it's by no means an issue that I think we need to lose a lot of sleep about, even though there are disagreements between the United States and China over Iran, but that still hasn't stopped them supporting the latest round of UN sanctions against Iran. And, I might add, while the Iranians are desperately trying to get the Chinese to invest in Iranian natural gas, only last week it was announced that Chinese companies are prepared to invest billions in Texas gas shale, which suggests that they are going to go anywhere they want to get their energy.